Hey, good morning everybody. It's been quite a while since I've done like a shop walkthrough or like a project update video. So I'm gonna spend, I don't know, 15 minutes this morning just kind of going through what we have going on in our shop and kind of just show you where we're at and some of the cool stuff that's happening to all these vehicles. So the first one right behind me is Clay's OBS. This is one that we've been going on for probably close to 6 months now. You guys have seen this on social media, and we've done some earlier videos where we showed some of the chassis stuff that we did, but this is a like 25,000 mile 454 SS truck that had already been modified with like an LS9 crate engine and some stuff like that, but we took it all apart and are redoing the truck. So it still has that dry sump LS9, but now it has the BMW dual clutch 7-speed paddle shifted trans behind it. The frame had been cut to fit the factory LS9 accessory drive. So we repaired the stock frame and we built a big giant inner stiffener and did a torque arm rear suspension. It's got JRIs on the front of it. We are waiting for like a few little nuts and bolts or fasteners to kind of put the reservoirs back on the front of the rails, but I'm getting ready to do all the mil spec engine loom. So we've got a Deutsch firewall bulkhead connector here that'll quick disconnect, that'll have all the engine wiring in it, and then we've got one chassis connector here that'll do all the light, front and rear lighting and stuff like that. So I'm getting ready to start building those looms. We kind of did some firewall sheet metal work, you know, like the factory little power distribution block that was up here is gone. Gotten rid of any of the heat and air stuff that was out on the factory firewall, and put a vintage air bulkhead down there for the AC or HVAC plumbing to come through. Just kind of tidied up a lot of the other stuff. This is the factory booster that was on there in still good condition and just repainted it. This is where kind of some cool stuff's going on. So it's got a traditional 9-inch in it. But we built all the lower control arm brackets and coilover brackets, and we did the sway bar on the rear. This is a spline bar, and then we did the tabs, and then we did a quick disconnect on each end where you can pull this pin and change the rate of the rear bar, or you can disconnect it when you autocross, whatever. But it's got an adjustable torque arm that's built into our X member that we built. All the fuel plumbing is all stainless, and all the hard lines for the brakes are all stainless. And then we did one of those 12-chamber aluminum fuel cells like we've been doing. So this is all the fluid dynamic engineering was done by Aftermarket Industries in Australia, but they did, they've been helping us with all the engineering on these tanks. So there's 12 chambers, 6 chambers per story, so it's 2 stories inside. And then there's fluid control holes that allow the fluid to move to the sump, but not side to side or, you know, under braking. It's got their track day FC1000 pup hanger on it. So this has got twin Warburg 450s in it, and one's just a redundant pump. The engine will run off one single 450, and then if it has a pump failure, the PDM from Motec will cycle over and power the other pump. So it's got a billet top on it. We do that just to get this pattern for this pump hanger. We get the pattern for the level sending unit in it, and then we've got a removable fuel fill barb that goes in there as well. So really cool stuff happening back here. Anti-gravity's big battery. This is the Group 35 battery. This one's got the push button reconnect on it, or this battery actually has the key fob too. So if your battery does shut off, you can turn it back on with the push of a button. The body shop went ahead and blended in some of the paint in here where Dylan had done this. He's got a flange here that it's got a cover now that can come off. And we did that so that we can access the electrical connector for the transmission in here. But the guys also went ahead and mounted the Motec M150 ECU and the PDM over there on the firewall. Everything's kind of tucked up and hidden. Like I said, getting ready to start on all the wiring for this. So this is one of my favorite projects. A little nerdy, but if you guys know me, you know that's what I kind of lean towards, is the tech. So anyways, Jimmy's Blazer is just kind of stuck right now waiting on the body shop. The body shop's got the top, they've got the fenders and the doors, and they're cutting all that stuff in so that we can get this body together. Core support got out and got fabricated. and it's getting ready to get painted as well. So this one's happened in an order that's super uncommon for us. Jimmy started out as just like a chassis customer, and then we were gonna mount the body, and now it's kind of turned into a full build. So we're kind of doing things in a little bit weird order, which is why this one's happening a little slower than normal. But anyways, very cool truck. This has got the Ford Area 51 blue. This is that new Bronco color. A lot of people have been asking us what this color is, and it's very, very cool. Got all Cerakote, tungsten accent color. So the bumpers and the wheels and everything will be all the same color. So this thing sits super low with an LS3 in it. Super excited to show you more about that in the future. Let's walk over to the other shop. Guy's got a lot going on over there. Oh, and actually, Tim Tyler's square body is parked outside right now. They're refinishing a hood inside the bottom of the hood inside the shop, so we pushed it out. But this one is getting very close to being done. Zach just finished the 3-inch stainless exhaust on this yesterday. We're actually going to take this truck to C10 Nationals in Texas. So you guys will be able to see this truck on display in our booth in Texas if you're at that show. But I'm very proud of this truck. It's been close to a 2-year project. There's lots of money and labor time in this paint and body. It's literally perfect. The body lines are some of the best I've ever seen on a square body pickup. Fenders fit the A-pillar better than any truck I've ever seen. This truck's really going farther than maybe any of them that we've ever built. We don't do a ton of full paint and body trucks just because there's so much time that goes into them. But man, this is one of my favorite trucks we've ever built. They're waiting for the air intake pipe to come back from the powder coater today to get that in. And then this thing's been fired. It does run, but after C10 Nationals, we'll get it drivable, and then it's going to go to Joel to get the upholstery done. It's got slosh tubs, like buddy bucket system in it. All the electronics are mounted underneath this, so the ECU, the crossover, and the amp for the 5-channel amp for the stereos under here. But Dylan made this really trick cover that we can upholster, as well as, you know, like sit on top of the carpet to cover all that stuff up. So you don't see wiring under the seats or whatever. But this truck's very, very cool. Super pumped to get out and drive this with Tim, put some miles on it. But anyways, this one's about done. And like I said, it'll be at C10 Nationals in Texas. So if you guys are there, stop by, say hi, take a look at that truck. Zach's in here welding up some harness bars. A lot of people have been requesting harness bars for 67 to 72 and square bodies, but right now we've got 3 67 to 72s that all need harness bars. So we're gonna build them all, we're gonna fixture, and then we're gonna every now and then do a run of maybe 3 or 4 of those harness bars for you guys to buy off the website. So be a little bit patient with us. I know we've talked about doing them in the past, but now we're finally doing them. It'll be a full main hoop with removable door bars. And so the harness bar is not welded in this one yet, but there's a harness bar that ducks back and goes across and sits right underneath the back window. But Zach's done a really good job doing some engineering on this and figuring out the best way to have a removable main hoop and removable door bars. And anyways, Matt Ryan's truck, Old Yeller, is also waiting to go to upholstery. This truck is one of my favorites as well. I know I maybe throw that around too much, but this is a pretty original paint, 72. It was a long bed that we cut the bed sides down, and then Boris at Street Machinery, him and Jerome blended in the paint. And I've showed you this so many times, but every time I'm around this truck, I'm shocked at how good this bed shortening turned out. But anyways, got it down on the ground. It looks super cool. It's got everything that I would ever want, like a 500 wheel LS3. It's got forged lines. It's got 12-inch wide all the way around with a 315 tire. We actually built this axle to the perfect track width so that we can run the exact same wheel and tire on all 4 corners and rotate them. So that's something I'm pretty proud of. This one also waiting for the intake pipe to be installed. Dylan just finished all the HVAC plumbing. And its seats are actually at Joel's right now getting upholstered. So as soon as he says to bring it, we're gonna bring this one up there and let him do a German square weave carpet. This is also something pretty trick that Zach did for us. We've been kind of working on a package where we can come out with like a production fuel fill. So that is a fuel fill, and it's the fuel vent canister incorporated into it as well. So that can vent your fuel tank, and you can fill from there as well. So this is a Joe's Racing bung and cap. We're gonna re-anodize that and maybe take the logo off or put our logo in it. But this is the prototype one at least. Allows easy fill and vent mounting. So I think that's kind of neat. Paul's truck, Jesse V, quote unquote, is waiting to go back home to Texas. You guys have seen me race this for the past couple years, and whether or not you know, it's not been my truck for the last couple years. Paul owns it. I've raced it for him, and just kind of just showing people what we can do with this truck, you know, as far as the build goes, and you know, how competitive the truck can be. So anyways, it's getting cleaned up. We're touching up some paint on the bottom of the hood, and then it's going back to Texas. Paul's gonna do some driving with it. Actually, Robbie from United by Trucks was here just last weekend and did kind of a final episode of that entire series of rebuilding this truck. So you guys hop on over to United by Trucks channel and you can watch. I think there's a previous initial video where we're going to No Limit and picking out the chassis. You can watch that, and I think there's going to be a next and final episode where we talk about where you'll see the entire rest of the build, putting the body on, and then what we did with it, some of the successes that we had. This is another truck that we just getting started on. This one is just a straight up LS swap. Brand new crate LS3, very similar package to what's in Matt's truck, but this one has a Bowler built 4L75E behind it. Pretty much just a cruiser truck. Gonna do a lot of power tour stuff, but it is a really, really nice long bed truck. Looks like it may have had a restoration years ago, but awesome, awesome driver truck. We're gonna put Dakota Digitals in it, and we're gonna put Vintage Air. All the supporting systems like cooling system, fuel system, exhaust system are gonna be done as well, but I'm pretty pumped on this truck. This is actually a local guy. He's about 30-45 minutes from us. His name's Don, and Don's been super cool to work with, and we're really excited to do this truck as well. Which is just a 305 truck, 700 R4, and now going to a 4L75E with a 525 horse LS3. So Peter just getting started on this one yesterday. He started draining all the fluids, and then today he's going to start pulling drivetrain out of it and get the engine bay washed up and stuff. So anyways, that's about it for updates. Appreciate you guys following. If you need anything, get a hold of us via email or phone calls. Check out our website for merchandising and all the parts that we've been manufacturing. If you need anything else, just let us know. Thanks a lot.